Israel must stay vigilant along its border with Egypt as tensions escalate following the release of only 3 hostages. Despite President Trump's ultimatum demanding the release of all living hostages,
they ought to be returned by 12 o'clock on Saturday, and if they're not returned, all of them, Saturday at 12 o'clock, and after that, I would say all hell is going to break out.
in response, Prime Minister Netanyahu held an emergency cabinet meeting on Saturday evening to discuss the possibility of escalating actions in Gaza. IDF Chief of Staff, Herzi Halevi, exposed a significant deception by Hamas during the release of hostages, Selin and Sasha, in Gaza. Hamas attempted a series of disgraceful tricks aimed at bolstering their propaganda and psychological tactics against Israeli citizens, but their efforts were in vain. We will analyze Hamas's malicious actions, especially their deceitful ploy against Aviv Sani, the mother of one of the hostages, as well as the emotional and poignant moments during the hostage release. The question of completing Phase A of the deal lingers, while mediators are already pushing for Phase B negotiations. Despite the challenges, Israel has made a notable effort to ease conditions for civilians in Gaza by providing mobile living spaces in coordination with the Americans. This comes as Arab governments continue to make statements about President Trump's Gaza plan without taking substantial actions. Meanwhile, celebrations erupted in Palestinian cities like Khan Yunis and Ramallah as freed terrorists returned and burned their release shirts, which bore the Star of David. In exchange for the hostages, Israel released 369 terrorists, including 36 serving life sentences. In the northern arena, drama unfolded in Lebanon when an Iranian plane carrying weapons and ammunition for Hezbollah was forced to turn back by Israel. Over the weekend, an Israeli airstrike eliminated another Hezbollah operative and his associates. Drones from Lebanon also breached Israeli airspace, testing the ceasefire agreement. Israeli forces remained busy throughout the weekend, managing celebrations over the release of terrorists in northern Samaria and ongoing security operations. Additionally, an unusual American airstrike in Idlib, northwestern Syria, likely targeted a senior Al-Qaeda or ISIS regional leader. Day 499 of the war against Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis in Yemen, Shia militias in Iraq, and other armed groups controlled by Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps. Despite appearing in decent physical condition, the hostages looked pale, likely from lack of sunlight exposure. Dean and Haron were seen limping, yet they demonstrated remarkable nobility on stage. Surrounded by Hamas and Islamic Jihad terrorists, I want to send lots of love to Sasha, whose partner Sapir Kin never stopped believing he'd return.
My name is Sapir Cohen. I was in captivity 55 days. My story begins 6 months ago. I felt that something very bad will happen to me. I didn't know why I feel like that.
She was also freed and shared her first-hand account of the hostages' experiences. Despite the release of 3 hostages, Israel continues to coordinate with the US to rescue as many as possible, keeping all options open for future actions. Netanyahu intends to convene a political security cabinet soon to decide Israel's next steps. The release was a result of reinforcing IDF forces around Gaza and Trump's firm stance on the issue. As we delve deeper into Israel's diplomatic efforts and the ongoing war against Hamas, I urge you to spread the truth about the situation.
The main point, I guess, for me and for our discussion is that whether Hamas is still functioning, is still the operating political body and governing body in the Gaza Strip, and my answer to that is yes.
I want to thank the brave soldiers and security forces working tirelessly to keep Israel safe and bring our hostages home. Their sacrifices are incredible, and their commitment is unwavering. Faith and the Israeli innovation have been a practical boost, enhancing energy and focus through tough times.
I quoted many times the line in the Bible that says, "They shall rise like lions, they have risen like lions, they fight like lions, and they will win like lions."
Countries. Our U.S. Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, arrived in Israel on Saturday evening, following senior-level meetings over the weekend. Israeli officials have expressed their desire to expedite the next phases of freeing the hostages, and mediators are reportedly working on this, though it will require compensation from Israel. An Israeli official explained that President Trump wants to modify the agreement to bear his name and imprint. This includes efforts to expedite the timing of the next phases, and the attempt to change Phase B to release all the hostages at once. To understand
I would say Saturday at 12, we want them all back. I'm speaking for myself. Israel can override
President
it.
Trump has
But
publicly
from myself, Saturday at 12 o'clock, and if they're not here, all hell is going to break out.
For Palestinian hesitation in returning all the hostages. Israel is committed to a ceasefire agreement involving a staggered release process for the hostages. While we welcome the invitation to take a firmer stance against Hamas, we also want to honor the agreement. Prime Minister Netanyahu wasn't fully prepared for what was coming, and it's essential to tread carefully to avoid disrupting the current situation. Hostage release is a crucial issue in Israel, and any disruption to the delicate balance achieved with Hamas, facilitated by both the outgoing Biden administration and the incoming Trump administration, is highly upsetting to the Israeli people. The Trump administration is, in fact, calling on Israel to violate the terms of the ceasefire agreement. Netanyahu and his cabinet must navigate carefully to maintain the agreement with Hamas, while preserving good relations with the new Trump administration. We are witnessing a shift in Middle East relationships, with the U.S. administration showing unprecedented willingness to take decisive action to reshape the balance of power in the region, strongly supporting Israel. The next phase of negotiations will focus on how much humanitarian aid goes into Gaza and how quickly new structures and homes are built. Hamas wants to show they are in control and bringing benefits to the people, while Israel is negotiating the terms. This complex situation requires careful handling to maintain stability while ensuring the safety and security of Israel.
We'll do a job with it too. We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site, level the site and get rid of the destroyed buildings, level it out, create an economic development U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it too. We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site, level the site and get rid of the destroyed buildings, level it out, create an economic development